And I never really got close to him because I always had a feeling there was something wrong.
Joining us tonight, two brothers who attend the high school. Brandon Minoff is a senior. He was outside the school when the shooting started, knows the suspect. His younger brother, Aiden, was inside the school. Aiden, we'll start with you. What did you first see and experience?
I was wrapping up in math class. As you know, it was the end of the day, and we were pretty much just packing up. We heard a few pops, and at the time, we didn't really think much of it, as it could have been, a kid throwing something or maybe a chip bag opening in the hallway, until one of my friends who was previously in the bathroom came in running frantically, screaming that there's a shooter. He heard gunshots, and we were all a little suspicious until the fire alarm was pulled shortly then after, and we heard a bunch of other shots. And that's when the lights were turned off, door was locked, and we went into hiding.
Aiden, have you accounted for all of your friends at school? Is everybody okay that you know?
Yes, I do, and everyone in my classroom that I was in is okay, including the teacher and the administrator that was spectating this.
All right, well, thank you. Brandon, tell us about this guy his fellow students call Nick, 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz.
I had 2 classes with him back sophomore year. I never really associated with him or talked to him until one day I got paired to do a project with him. And he just started talking to me. He was telling me about how they got expelled from 2 different private schools. He was held back twice. He had aspirations to join the military, and he enjoyed hunting.
People said he made unusual markings on his body. He left an incredible trail of kind of evidence pointing to this on social media. It sounds like he was the kind of kid you then took pains to avoid.
I hadn't seen that at the time. I just always thought that he was unusual and strange, always sat alone, twiddling his thumbs, keeping to himself, laugh at himself.
So what was your reaction when you heard that it was him?
I wasn't surprised, but it was kind of unfortunate to hear.
How, if you were a lawmaker, an adult in a decision-making position, how would you stop, do you think, the kind of thing that happened today? A kid who'd been thrown out comes back with a weapon and takes out whatever grievance he's been walking around with in his head.
Gun-wise, I don't think there's any way to prevent it. You outlaw guns, just creates higher demand for it. I think it has to do with mental health, though. If he's been expelled 3 different times from 3 different schools, I think he should be helped out.
Brandon, I asked your brother this. Have you accounted for everybody you know?
Yes, sir.
So everyone you know in your circle of friends is safe?
Yes, I'm just hoping that the other 17 people aren't anybody close to me.
Aiden, what's it going to feel like? What do you know about when you guys can go back? I know it's closed for the week. I know counselors show up at 8 a.m. tomorrow at an off-site location, but what's it going to feel like walking back in there?
It's going to feel like a brand new and unfortunately not a good new kind of school. Everyone's going to walk in knowing what happened, and there's no way of changing that or trying to go back. Really, it's just going to be a grieving and really depressing time, but we should unify as a community and a society in this tragedy.
Brandon, I see you got your team colors on your T-shirt. How would you have described your high school to me before today?
Just any normal school, hang out with my friends, go to school, eat lunch. Just never really expected any of this to happen. It's unfortunate that it did.
I'm amazed at the composure you guys have been able to show tonight. I know you've been through just a hellish day. Thank you both so much. I'm sorry to take your time and keep you up further. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We